As you may or may not know, I am an OpenBSD user. I'm a Linux user by trade. I use Linux for school and stuff, but for personal uses, I use OpenBSD. It's very minimal, very simple. I love OpenBSD overall. So, there's one problem with OpenBSD, and that is there's not a lot of third-party software on it. A lot of developers, they'll port to it, but smaller developers, they just make it for Linux. And usually, a lot of software will actually work on Linux and work on OpenBSD, however, with a little bit of tweaking. And so, OpenBSD introduced the port system. Now, this was a long time ago, not anything new. And basically how it works is it runs off of make files. So if we look in here, this is every single X11 utility that exists inside of the OpenBSD ports tree. So let's go into Spectre WM and we look at the make file, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in here, and it's basically just a lot of stuff that allows you to build the package on your machine, and all you have to do is run make install. That's it. You just have to do it as the root user and you're perfect. So that's a good thing. However, what if you want to have your own packages? You don't want to have to try and push them to the ports tree, get them approved or anything. You just want people to be able to build them, or you just want to use them for yourself. Well, we create the my stuff directory, and it's basically a mirror of the actual ports directory. However, that is not what I want. That's my regular Git directory. I actually have let's look here. OpenBSD dash ports. I actually have it. Wow. Okay. Sorry. I have it symlinked. My OpenBSD ports directory. I have that symlinked into my stuff directory. So if we look here, lsshell my stuff. We didn't need to do that actually. We'll go on to, sorry, grep my stuff. So here we go. We can see it's symlinked to my OpenBSD ports directory. So that's all fine and good. So let's go into that. And right here you can see that it should have the same types of folders as user ports. However, I have much less because I'm not porting all of these different kinds of utilities. So let's go into X11, and actually I'm already in it over here. And we want to make Luke Smith's terminal. So if you did not know, I use Luke Smith's build of dmenu and st. I don't use his DWM build. I made my own because that's the kind of thing I really want to customize. But his st build works great. Same as his dmenu build. It all works fine. So the problem is you're not going to find that in OpenBSD repositories. You have to build it yourself. However, not everybody knows how to patch software. Not everybody knows how to download specific versions or forks. So they could just go into your directory, your ports directory, run make install, and that is it. That's all they have to do. So it's really easy, it's really simple, and you could just you install it on your machine. You never have to worry about it. So let's go ahead and make the make file. So the whole point of the porting system is that it works entirely off of make files. And this might seem kind of strange at first. It might seem like it would take a lot of elaborate setup. However, it doesn't, because there's actually, and let's move this to 6 real quick so you can see it, bsd.port.mk, you include this file into your, and you can see there's extensive documentation. You run .include bsd port mk, and there's just a million functions that are in here, and they'll all allow you to make a great port. So let's go back to here. Oh, that's my screencast thing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do comment, and this is basically like a description. And I always tab over 3 times on the comment. That gives you plenty of space for every single line. I like them all lined up. So the first thing that we want to write in here is Luke Smith's fork of suck. Wow, sorry, I'm typing poorly. Suckless terminal. The only things that you need to worry about are, number 1, don't include the actual name of the program. So I wouldn't say Luke Smith's fork of ST. Don't do that. You want to put like suckless terminal. And do not put a period at the end. That is just not even an unspoken rule. They put it in all caps in the porting guide. Do not put a period at the end. And then the next thing you want to do is do the version of the software. Tab that over. And as far as I know, it's 0.8.5. Next thing you want to put dist name, and this is where you put the actual name of the software. So st is already a thing, so we're going to put st-luke, and then we're going to include the actual variable of the version. and you want to do a $sign and then curly braces. Make sure you do that, or else you can't actually use variables on a makefile. I'm not sure why. That's just its syntax. Whoops, I accidentally opened the help instead of hitting escape. So next thing we want to do is, actually we want to go to categories and set that to X11 because it's in the X11 folder, and then revision set to 0 because this is, I guess, the first time we're making this makefile. And then home page, and you want to put that gap there just because you're adding different information now. This is more like meta information, and you just put the repository of, if they have like a page for it to explain it, that's great, but I'm just going to put the actual repository from GitHub, so that's that. And then the maintainer. Now you would think, since he maintains the software, that he's going to obviously be the maintainer, so you put like Luxnex, but no, since he doesn't maintain the actual port, that's what you're looking for. You're going to put your name if you're making this port, and then put your email address in triangle brackets, so waifu.club, and then hit this again, and you want to get a new space, and then with a comment you put the name of the license, and this is so people can just look at it really quick, see the license, and then you want to run, or not run, you want to type permit package, and this is just, it allows people to basically create a binary and then distribute it. So it's just letting you type yes, obviously, because you're allowed to do that under the MIT license. Now, make sure to look at the license of whatever software you're trying to use or port, and then make sure that it allows you to distribute binary forms of it. Now, some licenses are like, hey, you can only distribute the source code, you can't distribute binaries, and that's kind of weird, but it's whatever. Anyways, the next thing that we're going to do is create 2 tabs, or hit return twice, and this is where it comes to actually grabbing the source code. So with the port system, you want to download a static tarball. You do not want to git clone a directory because things break all the time when it comes to that, and it's kind of a hassle. So the best thing to do is just download a static tarball. Now sometimes you don't get that option when it comes to downloading stuff from GitHub. A lot of the time people will make actual releases for their content or their repositories, and that's great. So I'll show you an example of that. Let's come here and 134 and user ports my stuff, sysutils, and let's go to Shuff. I ported the Shuff utility. It's a reimplementation of the GNU Shuff, and with this, you need to run the configure script, so /configure, and then you run that inside of this directory. So what it does is it goes to github.com, ibarra shuff releases download, and then it puts the disk name here, and remember the disk name is shuff-the version, and then it downloads the release tarball of basically the version that we provided up here, so shuff-3.0.tar.gz, and then it will run /configure in it. Now what we're doing today, all it does is it downloads the tarball, and then it uses a patch that I'm going to create. I'll show you guys how to create the patch because sometimes software needs patched, and then runs make install. Very simple, but if you need to configure, include the configure script variable and then configure style simple. So that's simple, that's basic, but we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and this involves actual commit IDs, because Luxnex unfortunately does not actually create releases for his software. So instead what we have to do is grab an actual very specific commit ID, and we'll just download a tarball like of that commit. So the first thing we want to do is run gh_account, and obviously his GitHub account is LukeSmithXYZ, and then we're going to do gh_project, and once again it's st, and then this is where the tricky part is, kind of. You do gh_commit, and then you want to go to your browser, whatever it is, and you're going to grab the latest commit. You can just click right here. Now I already have it loaded up because it takes a little bit of time to load stuff on my computer, and you just go either here, you can grab it from the URL, you go here, you copy it, and you go back and you paste it right in there, and that's all you have to do for that, and it will automatically get the tarball from that. And then the last thing you have to do, and hopefully this will be it for you, is dot include and then bsd.port.mk, and there you go. That should be all that you have to type inside of your makefile. So save that. And the first thing that you're going to do is run make install, make build, whatever. That's what you want to do, but that's not exactly what you can do just yet. So when you've actually finished making the port, all people have to do is cd into the directory, make install. However, we actually have to set it up so it can do that. It takes a little bit of work, and I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is run make sum, and this will download the actual tarball that we talked about earlier, and then it will allow us to check the checksum, basically. And if you don't know what checksum is, it basically just verifies that you downloaded the file correctly, and then whoever is going to download the tarball later, they're also downloading the same file as you. And that's why you can't git clone, because it's always going to be different, and you're not just downloading one file, so you have to do every single checksum, and then you'd have to update it every time there's a commit. So that's why we just do a statically linked, or not statically linked, we do a static tarball that you can download, check the checksum, and it's perfect. So we're going to run make sum, and it says it's up to date, and that's because I've actually downloaded the tarball before. However, we can look inside dist info now, and it will show the sum and the size, and this is in bytes, I'm pretty sure, so it's what, 56 kilobytes? I'm not sure, and it shows the checksum, and so that's great. The next thing we want to do is run make build, and so it's not going to produce any output for me because I've actually done this process before. However, I'm going to actually remove the dist files, remove the objects and stuff, so it looks like we're doing this clean. So let's go into, and you don't need to do this part, this is just for my sanity so I can actually show you guys. So remove that, and then I guess we're going to remove st, and then we're going to go back to my stuff, x11, st-luke, and then we're going to run make sum again. So there we go, it's fetched a fresh new version of the archive. It shouldn't have changed in checksum because it's the exact same thing. And now we're going to run make build, and there we go, so it's building. And here's the problem. Just wait. There you go. So we see errors. Now, here's the problem. ST actually uses a library on Linux that is already included in OpenBSD. You don't have to call it. And it's this librt right here. We don't need that on OpenBSD. And it's just not finding the library because it's unnecessary. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of the usage of the librt. Now how do we do that? Well, reasonably you would say I'll make a fork, I'll patch it, and then that'll be good. However, you don't even need to do that. You can include a patch with your port, so you don't even need to host your own fork or anything. It's very simple. So what we want to do is you want to cd backtick. That's just how you run a subshell. You can do that, or you can do that. I use backticks because it's faster. Make show equals work source, another backtick. And now we're into the source directory. So it's already extracted everything, which is very nice. So what we want to do is we want to copy config.mk, and this is where the error actually is. We're going to copy config.mk to config.mk.org original, and then we're going to remove librt. So let's go to config.mk, and we're going to see -lrt, and we just want to get rid of that. So now that's done. We're going to cd dash, and that puts us back in the directory that we were last in, and we are just going to run make build. So that worked. So the only problem now is that we don't actually know how we are going to, well, we know how we're going to patch it. However, the OpenBSD, when you're running it, it's not actually going to know that you just patched it. It just compiled it, and that was all fine, but it doesn't know that you patched it just now. So you have to actually generate the patch. So the problem with that is that you can either, well, you can download a patch, but what we have to do is we actually have to let it know that we patched it, and that's why we made that original file, and that's why we edited the new file. So what we want to do now is we want to generate the patch, and we have to actually run a command to generate that patch, and it's very simple. You don't have to do much to actually do that. So let me just God, I can't remember the command now. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna stop the video, so I'll probably just figure it out later. But I'm not gonna stop the video for now. Hold on. If I don't get it within like 10 seconds, I'm going to just stop the video or crop it out in post. Alright, here we go. So it's make update dash patches. Sorry that took so long. And all you do is when you do that, you save the file. Sorry, I literally was just blanking so hard on the command there. I'm not going to crop that out, but hopefully it wasn't too annoying to listen to. Anyways, so we run make build again just to be just to make sure that everything ran right, and it's not going to do anything because the build is up to date. So then we run make fake, and this is basically fakely installing it, so you can see that it's in the fake directory user local bin. So it basically just installed it to a fake version of whatever operating, well, quote unquote operating system, as if there was an operating system there. And then the next thing we do is make update dash plist, and it says don't build ports as root. Ignore that. And what you want to look at now is dist info. So, or not dist info, sorry. You want to look at package slash plist, and this will show you all the files that are actually created upon installing the port. And that's useful because then it knows exactly what to remove when you try and uninstall the port. So the next thing to do is cd into the package directory and make a description file and just call it DESCR in all caps. And you just say pretty much the same thing as comment. Luke Smith's build of the suck less terminal. And that's it. And then this is it. And then you just do make install. And I already have it installed, so it didn't do anything. However, if you want to uninstall it, you just run make deinstall, and it should uninstall it. And then you run make clean, and that'll clean up the actual ports directory. And then all you have to do from there is add this to whatever Git repository you want to, or you can submit it to the ports mailing list. And then let's just show for an example. If someone wants to do this, all they have to do now is run make. It will do all this other stuff for you. It'll do the patching, and it'll download the tarball, but since we already had the tarball, it didn't do that. And then you run make install. And that's it. So that's how you make an OpenBSD port, and add that to your Git repos or whatever, and anybody can just run in, make, and then make install. They just have to be root. So hope that was useful.